Okay, I'm starting again. So I have my two pieces, the front of the mask, which is your 10.5 by 9 piece, and I have your back of the mask, which is your 9 by 9 piece. Just a little tip: when I press, I have a piece of cardstock, this piece that I have over by my iron, and I use this to press. So I have the right measurement. Take that out. Do a whole bunch at once, prepare all your pieces. Elastic is here. This is the wrong width elastic. I'm just using it for the sake of the video. So the first thing we're going to do is stitch the hems closed. Sorry, I'm not a video maker, but I'm trying. So you're going to stitch your pocket hem closed. And of course, I would not do just one. I would do a whole bunch of pieces. And you can just feed it into your machine like this. And I'm going to feed in my second piece just to close the hem on both pieces. Okay. And as I said, you could put in a whole bunch at once and then just go in and trim them as you need them. So I'm going to take my pieces and put them right sides together. So my right sides are together. I'm going to turn it and line up. Don't mind these because I had to rip it and start over because I forgot to do that step to show you. So we are going to line up our bottom edges together, the bottom of the mask, opposite of your folded hems. We are going to start at 1/4 of an inch in, which is your seam allowance, and I'm going to sew across the bottom edge. Stop 1/4 of an inch from your side edge. Put your needle in and turn. Take your piece of elastic. We're going to sandwich it in between the two layers and put it right up against the stitch that you just did, and you're going to line it up with your edge. Put your liner piece back over top, and what I like to do is stitch across the elastic and back stitch. Okay, and now I'm going to stitch up the side, and I'm going to stop about 3/4 of the way up. Line those up. Stitch up your side, okay, until about here. So we're going to reach into the pocket. We're going to take that piece of elastic that we had already attached on the one end. We're going to put it in between this large fold that we have already pressed. Okay, put it in between, put your liner piece over top of that, stitch all the way up, back stitch across your elastic. Okay, that's one side done. I'm now going back to where I started. So 1/4 of an inch in, I'm going to take my other piece of my elastic. I'm going to do the same thing we did to start, put it right along that bottom seam that we did. Sandwich it in there. Start the same point. Back stitch. Oh, my sewing machine's going to act up now. We're going to go up the hem to about 3/4 of the way. We're going to reach into the pocket again. We're going to grab that piece of elastic we just attached so you have the free end. We're going to put it in between that large fold. Again, put your liner over top and stitch up the side. Back and forth across your elastic. And then we're going to trim. Cut your thread. I go back and cut the threads in the corner. Just give it a little trim there. If you want to trim the upper corner, if your fabric is really thick, whatever you like. Okay, so now we're going to turn it inside out, and I give a tug to the elastic to pull the corner out, but also to ensure that that elastic is pretty secure. And I will do each corner. So at this point, I would sew a whole bunch of masks to this point. Then I make a pile on my ironing board, and I will show you now the pressing part. So I lay it flat, putting the elastics towards the top. Seems to be the easiest. Sorry, my iron was paused. Just gonna lay that flat. Press it, press your seams out. I'm kind of doing not the best job here, but whatever. Then we are going to do that top hem. Flip it over. So I have my right side of my mask facing out. I pull the elastics up like that to make it easier. I eyeball my pleats, but however you do your pleats, now you would do them. So I fold down my first one and press my second one. Press, and then my last one is here, so it kind of leaves, just as a pattern indicates, a bigger space on the top. Don't mind these little threads, I will trim those up after. Your last pleat, don't mind the dog. So we have ironed our pleats here. Somebody's walking by the house. Now we are going to sew the side. So I like the pleats facing towards me, and again I would do a whole bunch of them and have them over here ironed, ready to sew my pleats down, which also will reinforce my elastic. So I use my 1/4 inch seam allowance and I go down. Make sure my pleats are nice there. I like to go across a couple stitches and then go back up very carefully because my pleats are the other way. Some people like to go along the entire edge of their mask, whatever you like to do. Trim. There's our seam. And now we're going to do the other side. Again, I like my pleats facing down, especially as my first pass that way. So just go slowly. If you're not pinning, I don't pin. And I'm going to feed it, my pleats in as I go. Go across a couple stitches. Go back up. There we go. And we trim. Trim, and your mask is completed. Now I should have showed you how I put in my nose piece. So when the pieces are flat and pressed, we did our seam for the hems. After that is when I actually put in the nose piece. If I'm using a ribbon or twill tape or what have you, I eyeball, stick it right up against, tight up against that pleat line. Sorry, the larger hem line, and then I stitch down across the bottom and back up. So that is the only piece. If you wanted to add those nose pieces in there, that's where it would be on the underside of the mask. Hopefully that helps someone